following inequality, I replaced one entropy with Renyi entropy, and I've replaced weight probability with 1 plus epsilon probability. And the key thing to call attention here is this is a device independent signature. Without that, the assertion would be simple trivial and it's the same as the assertion without simple trivials. But the fact that the signature is device independent that really provides the security that we ultimately get. And we proved, generalizing our previous work, that basically any function that achieves such an inequality becomes a lower bound for the number of bits coming out of the Kudrant Minikin protocol. This was the part of the proof I had the most fun with. It's been going through many stages of evolution. In the current draft, it's fairly well down in divide. And basically, it's kind of a series of half-page proofs kind of all put together. So where are we then? So basically, we've shown that everything comes down to proving that we have a strong rate curve. Once we have that, then we have full security for the protocol. So here's where we'll actually use the 1 plus epsilon uncertainty principle. Suppose that we had a device that had high 1 plus epsilon weight probability. We want to show that it has high Renyi entropy. If that were not the case, take the device and pre-measure it on whatever measurement it's going to use on input A. Now I've got a device that is predictable on input A, which means its 1 plus epsilon score has to be bounded. This is the threshold we use to bound devices that get predictable on inside, and it's like 1 plus epsilon weight probability. So by our assumption, we created a big gap. We started with something that had high weight probability, well above WG. We brought it down to one that has low weight probability. So that means disturbance is significant. We've changed state quite a bit. The 1 plus epsilon uncertainty principle says that means that some device-independent variables was generated in the process of making that measurement. And therefore, high 1 plus epsilon weight probability must imply high Renyi divergence. We put that in formal terms using the function of the 1 plus epsilon uncertainty principle, and then we get the rate curve that I was referring to before. Okay, so basically, as soon as we get a violation going above WGA, we will necessarily get a positive number of bits per round coming out of the Kudrant Minikin protocol. So mission accomplished. So for example, CHSH game, the optimal quantum weight probability is 0.53. WGA, in this case, corresponds to the best possible classical threshold, which is 0.75. So we have a gap of 10.3% to work with. That means if we want to do experiments, we can allow up to 10.3% error accumulated imperfections in the equipment that we're using. So we now have quite a bit more leeway while still proving quantum security. Okay, so since just connecting this to other talks that we've been hearing, this one application of this is we can get another proof of device-independent QKD, and that is basically taking the same protocol but distributing it between two parties. DIQKD is essentially the same thing as device random generation, except we're trying to get two places secure. So there's a few extra steps we need to take to make that happen. So start with carrying out the protocol as usual with two parties, and they can communicate as they need in order to check the score. You don't lose much information there because game rounds are rare. They only need to compare the inputs and outputs during game rounds, so that's okay. Not much entropy is lost. So Alzenbach carried this out, communicating to determine the shared inputs and everything, and the frequency, and then when the game rounds occur. And they check their outputs and decide to award. And then at the second stage, Atlas makes a guess at what Bob's bits are. And here we need to use properties of the game that go beyond just the classical security or deterministic threshold. So the idea is, for example, when we're playing CHSH, the optimal strategy for the CHSH game involves Alice and Bob outputting correlated bits. They don't agree perfectly, but they're correlated. So the definition of CHSH is if you have if your inputs are A and B and your outputs are X and Y, the game is won if the X and Y is equal to the AND of A and B. So Alice can make her best guess at Bob's bits by exploiting that. So if the input is 0 and 0, then their bits are supposed to agree. So she can say, like, okay, well, my first bit is 0, I'm going to guess that Bob's first bit is 0. And then on rounds, game rounds, when later in protocol, Alice finds out what Bob's input was. If the inputs were both 1 and 1, she would flip the corresponding bits in order to try to get what she wanted coming out. So it's the kind of procedure that would succeed a certain constant proportion of the rounds, because Alice and Bob checked that there's a certain level of performance by the device. And so we'll at least be able to know at this stage that Alice and Bob's bits agree for a certain constant number of rounds. As long as that constant is something less than 1/2, then we can apply information reconciliation, where basically Alice and Bob share partial information about the bits that they have in their store, and they give enough information that each of them can determine what the shared string is supposed to be. But an adversary who starts with nothing would not be able to read that information out. And then, lastly, they perform random extraction. That's exactly the same as before. They're just doing the same procedure on both sides. And the only added layer we need in order to prove security of this is that we need to show that the amount of entropy that's lost during information reconciliation, which is some proportion of that, doesn't exceed the amount of entropy that you get in step 1. And we can do that for certain things, so we achieve DIQKD. Okay, so that's it for the results. I'll comment about a couple open problems that remain. I think my feeling is a lot of fun, so we've kind of exhausted the current techniques and taken them as far as they're going to go. So if we're going to solve these remaining open problems, it's going to require some new creative techniques to bring the results even further. So first of all, these rate curves that we have, they're only optimal in the sense that they are non-zero over the largest possible range, but there's definitely a lot of improvement in the vertical direction, making them as high as they can be. Our first paper showed a rate curve that was high when you approach the optimal quantum score was low elsewhere, and our new rate curve has a large non-zero range, but it's generally pretty low. We'd like to be able to figure out the best possible rate curve, which should, based on current evidence, be the same as the rate curve you get against a classical adversary. This will be important if we're dealing with games that have high output. All we have so far is like less than 1 bit per round in the protocol, but if we're dealing with a game that has 16 bits of output, then a lot is being lost. So suspect there are strong results that prove there may require delving more deeply into the tools we use, like the uniform convexity. Okay, and then lastly, parallel random expansion. If we really want to go all the way, and we're moving assumptions, we can go to the point where we don't even assume the devices get their inputs in sequence, but pick more ones. And I was looking at a larger cryptographic protocol where we actually needed this, and I didn't know how to prove it. So the thing is, this is an example where we tweak the problem slightly, and then all the techniques that we have go out the window and just have to start over. So sequential non-local games and parallel non-local games are very different, and the techniques used to address them are also very different. One of the immediate roadblocks is that when you parallel repeat a game, classical devices can actually achieve, in some cases, a higher average score over the parallel repetition than it could over a single repetition. And so it's not even clear initially what kind of threshold we need in order to rule out classical behavior. So that's another question. Okay, last thing is one. So all this kind of fits in the general umbrella of trustworthy quantum equation. And this year we're going to we hosted a first workshop on this topic. And one fun, we were fortunate to have a lot of great speakers. And it's Professor Zhang Seng to do it next summer in Shanghai. And that's it. Thank you. Questions? If the noise robustness for QKE the same as randomness? The noise robustness in general would not be the same, and the reason being that if the device were too close to this cutoff, then the P rising would be low, while the amount of discrepancy between analysis key and false key would be high, and you wouldn't be able to reconcile those two values. Yeah, so basically the cutoff needs to be something higher, and it's an open problem so far as I know to have techniques to measure that. Other questions? Okay, this is one. Yeah, the results applied any knowledge, and that was the main accomplishment of most recent paper. So basically, this cutoff here, that is the correct cutoff, which means you can use an analog game, provided that there's a gap between these two values. Yeah, thank you. Okay, another question. Yeah, okay, yes. Since you have a result for any value that goes above the classical value, when is that correct for any game? That is almost true, and there's a subtlety here that we actually kind of tripped over. So for some games, this is the same as the optimal classical score, but not for all. So for example, CHS, you can correctly say that we have great generation for anything exceeding the classical score, which is the definition of WGA. So it is the supremum of all scores that can be achieved by devices that are deterministic on it. So if we were to say something stronger and require that they be deterministic on all inputs, then we'd be talking about the classical threshold. But this is something that, in some cases, can be higher up than the classical threshold.
Do you get some rigidity for all things that rigidity? So can you first think about numbers?
Okay, well, that's a good question. Answer that. I've explored going the other way, kind of using rigidity and using that to infer information about the but immediately I don't know the answer to whether you could assert for a general game that some constraints and measurements occur once you go above WGA. It'd be something interesting to explore.
Okay. So, any other question? That's not the case. So thank you very much again. Go.
Yes, thank you. So I'd like to start with a warning. So this talk is going to be mainly classical. I hope you're still going to enjoy it or appreciate it because the topic that arose from this community, some of our results do extend to the quantum setting, but in general the quantum setting is still not very well understood, so there's work for us to be done here. Throughout the talk, I'm going to use this classical C and this quantum Q to distinguish between things that are possible in the classical setting, between things that extend to the quantum setting. So like in the previous talk, I'm going to talk about two-prover commitments. So these are commitment schemes where the committer, the entity that's responsible for producing and opening the commitment, consists of two agents that by assumption cannot communicate with each other. I like to think of commitment schemes in general as analogs of putting something into a safe so that you don't get to see what's inside the safe until I decide to open the safe. That's called binding property. On the other hand, you know I cannot change my mind anymore about what's inside the safe, so that's called the binding property. Now, canonical example for a two-prover big commitment scheme is the one I create with you've already seen in the previous talk. It wasn't somewhat important for myself. I'm going to quickly go over that scheme again. So in the commit phase, the verifier sends
a random string A to prover P, and the prover P replies by setting X computed as y plus A times B, where y is joint randomness only known to the provers, and B is the bit they want to commit to. And in order to open the commitment, the other prover Q announces the joint randomness Y, and the verifier simply checks the openness. And Max has already argued that why this is hiding, also why it is binding against against classical provers. We can also show security against quantum provers, or allow to have shared entanglement, and can produce their measurements, their messages as a result of measuring their shares of the quantum state. But this proof is like more involved, not part of this work here. It's time to also mention relativistic commitment schemes, which is related to the question from just before, which in spirit, as introduced by Ken, is just a two-prover commitment scheme, but where the non-signaling, the no-communication assumption is enforced by relativistic effects. So in the example of that particular scheme, we're removing the explicit assumption that they cannot communicate, and instead we put the two provers far apart in space, and we time the scheme in such a way that this communication here is outside the line code determined by this communication here, so that by relativistic effect we know y must be independent of A here. Now, one downside of this approach is that the open phase must take place very shortly after the commit phase, because after all, time is pretty damn fast, right? So this motivates the notion of so-called multi-round schemes, where between the commit and the open phase there is a sustained phase during which the verifier keeps communicating with the two provers, and the scheme is timed in such a way that every round of communication lies outside the line of the previous communication, and we want that both the binding and the hiding property holds throughout this sustained phase. So this sustained phase mimics the time when the message is in the state, and you can see what I have to say because I'm from the state, but I can't find anymore. And the goal, of course, is that the reason I sustain the So the scheme was recently proposed by Yuki et al. Built somewhat a et al. Scheme, which completely works as follows. So the commit phase, in order to commit the I just do the standard commit phase of the et al. Scheme, except I label here the variable with the subscript 0. And now recall the standard opening would just be to reveal the joint randomness and y0. But now we don't want to open the commitment yet. We want to delay the opening phase by keeping the value property alive. So instead, what we're going to do is, how the scheme works, there's the next round of communication, which has very much the same shape as the first round of communication, except that part is fresh randomness, so the verifier chooses a fresh A, and the provers use another fresh piece of shared randomness, and that's the important part, instead of using the bit B to compute the reply, they use the randomness y0, sort of the opening information from the previous round. The one important distinction is that B is a bit, y0 is a string, but we can understand bit strings as elements from a finite field, so this multiplication here is still notified. And the next round is in similar form with fresh randomness, now using y1, the opening, so the randomness from the previous round here to compute x2 and so on and so forth. And then the opening phase by revealing the final y that was used in the last round, and then it's sort of see that verifier can, from the end to the beginning, compute all the y's, y1, y0, and then y0 and verify the original. Okay, if there are too many variables floating around to digest, don't worry, we're going to get back to this scheme and describe it more intuitively later in my talk. So it's easy to see that the scheme is hiding because every message that the verifier receives is masked with new fresh randomness, obviously no information is leave until the opening phase. What is not easy to show is the binding property. Now, Lupi et al. Did a rigorous analysis of that scheme and showed that indeed it is binding, where the error parameter is upper bounded by this term here. Now, if you look at this term, you see that it behaves rather badly in terms of m. If m grows, this super quickly converges to 1, which means we have essentially no security. M is the number of rounds, so n, the length of the strings. So this means for reasonable parameters, m can only allow for rather small m here. And Lungi et al. They also did a practical implementation of that scheme, but because this limitation, because by this sort of weak behavior of this bound, therefore they can only deal with a small number of rounds, they can keep the commitment alive for up to 2 milliseconds. Okay, so our result is, our contribution is a new analysis of the same scheme, where we show that actually the error grows linearly in the number of rounds. So in that sense behaves much better. And now we didn't do any practical implementation, but if we take the data from their implementation, but throw in our improved analysis, I want to get some suspense here. We can keep the commitment alive for 10 to the 50 years. So actually our result is much more general. We show a general composition theorem, and then the improved analysis of the Lungi et al. Scheme follows as a simple form of the world. We also get a better understanding of the binding property of commitment schemes in this setting here. And also we find out that in independent work, Chakraborty and Ripke, they take the very same value of the Lungi et al. Scheme to achieve the very same result as we did. Their approach is tailored to that specific scheme, whereas our approach was, of course, more general distinction. Okay, now before I go into the technical details, I want to give you some intuition for why we expect the scheme to be secure. Our approach for proving it secure is by making this intuition rigorous. Okay, so now the first round of communication is just the standard commitment to the bit B using the et al. Scheme. Now the next round of communication is syntactically just a commitment to y0. Now I say syntactically because per se we don't really know what happens with the Clipboard scheme in terms of security when we plug in a string here around the NAP. But for the moment, I need to know this issue. And then the next round of communication is a commitment to one, and so on and so forth. So schematically, what goes on is the following. First, the provers put the message into the safe, but then instead of revealing the code that opens the safe, they put that code into a new safe. And then, instead of revealing the code that opens that safe, they put this code into a new safe. They keep going like this until at some point they reveal the code that opens the last safe, and then the verifier can open one safe after the other up to the first one to retrieve the original message that was placed there. Another question, of course, we want to know is that this composition of commitments is still binding. What we're showing is the security of two-fold composition. So if we look at, say, composing these two commitment schemes is to say in that way we get another secure commitment scheme, and then we can just apply this composition repeatedly. We can apply it to this then compose this composed scheme with this one, that this is now a secure commitment scheme, and we can keep on going like this until we get one security of the gate scheme with a linear flow of the parameter. Okay, that sounds easy enough. There are a couple of problems we have to deal with. One is that the standard definition for the binding property turns out to be unfriendly for proving such a composition, so we had to come up with a new definition for the binding property, which we showed to be equivalent to the standard one, but this new one turned out to be handier to work with, at least for our purpose. Now there's going to be another hurdle I'll talk about later when I get there. Okay, now I don't have much time to say too much about the new notion of binding. Let me just say, the intuition for security of commitment scheme is that we want that after the commit phase, after putting the safe on the table, there exists a string and sort of limits what is supposed to be inside the safe. So like, no matter what the provers, no matter how the provers behave in the opening phase, the string that the verifier will accept in the end is that string and fast, except the small probability or verifier reject. I mean, that's the intuition behind the binding property commitment scheme. Now, the definition is one particular way to make this intuition formal. It's not the strongest possible way to make this formal, but we show that in the case of big commitments, it's equivalent to the standard notion of binding that is used in the context of two-prover relativistic commitments. Again, I don't have time to go into detail, but let me point out that the Clipboard scheme as big commitments has been analyzed, proved secure according to the standard notion of binding, and therefore it's also secure according to our new notion of binding. Also, we know that in the end, we also need to understand the security of the Clipboard scheme as a big commitment scheme. Okay, so let me move on to the composition theorem. So what do we show? We start with two rather general two-prover commitment schemes. There's some restriction, like in the first scheme, only P should be involved in the commit phase, only Q should be involved in the opening phase, and so only Q should be involved in the commit phase. The second scheme of the opening phase may be more general than the second scheme. Now, given two such commitment schemes, we're going to construct a new one which are called composition of the two. Commit with respect to this composition, which is defined as the commit phase of the first scheme. The last one is the commitment is instead of just revealing the opening information, I'll use the second scheme to commit to the opening information, and then I want that commitment and the string that the verifier accepts from that opening is that uses to check the opening of the original scheme. Maybe that's complicated, but something else that I that instead of revealing the code that opens the safe, I put the code into a new safe and then open that safe. And what we show is that if the underlying commitment schemes are binding, then so is the composition with the error parameter simply anytime. I wanted to give some intuition about the proof. I said, let me say that the intuition behind the proof is rather simple. You just have to apply the security of the underlying building blocks in a clever way, and then we can put things together and get what we want. Making this intuition formal is a bit subtle, and has to be very careful with all the different probability distributions that one gets in the proof. Okay, let me now put things together. So now we have this composition theorem which I want to apply repeatedly to prove the security of the Looking scheme. Now, one thing, or the only thing that we have to do is we have to show that the Clipboard scheme is also secure as a string commitment scheme. Now, it turns out it is not secure as a string commitment scheme. It does not satisfy our notion of security. So, the end of my talk, I'm not going to much, sorry, because we could fix it as follows. We introduced a slightly relaxed version of the binding property, which means that the binding, we could show that the Clipboard scheme and the string commitment scheme is very binding according to this notion. We could also extend the composition theorem to the slightly relaxed notion of the binding property, so that we were in business to apply the composition theorem repeatedly to conclude the security of the Looking scheme and the fairly binding string commitment scheme, and then as a last step, as a last observation, the overall scheme doesn't have to be a string commitment scheme. The overall scheme actually is only a bit commitment scheme, and if you restrict the input of the fairly binding string commitment scheme to one bit, the scheme is actually binding according to the standard definition. So that in the end we do have security of the Looking scheme with a linear growth of the error parameter in terms of the number of rounds with respect to the standard security definition. Okay, so wrapping up, we have an improved analysis of the Looking scheme with a linear instead of exponential